Hey guys, this is the Fat Panda with another one of the Generation Tournament videos. This is going to be my third losers bracket battle. It's going to be my Gen 1 team against Illsavetheinternets Gen 3 team. So I've seemed to be against plenty of Gen 3 teams so far this tournament. Looking at his team, he's got a lot of tough, heavy hitters, a couple decent walls. Good thing is in the sun I outspeed pretty much his whole team, unless there's Flygon Scarfed. That thing might outspeed Victory Bell, not quite sure. But anyway, this is a pretty good battle we had. Now let me just hop right into it. He opens with his Swallow, and I open with my Vulpix. This is probably a Toxic Orb, Swallow, Guts, Facade, etc. So they usually often have Protect, use Protect first turn. I expected that, so I just go for a first turn substitute. That way I can survive whatever it's going to try to throw at me next turn at the very least. There's the poison. It just goes straight for the U-turn. I expected a heavy-hitting attack, so I actually went for a substitute, but unfortunately, he doesn't break the sub, so this is a wasted turn, actually, for me. I should have just tried to throw out a Will-O-Wisp or a Roar or something. So I actually don't even do anything that turn. He goes for a Psyshock to break the sub, while I throw out a Will-O-Wisp just to do some damage, hopefully get a burn on him, start ticking away. And I do hit it, so he's burned. Not the most irritating status effect to Latios, but you know, any damage is good damage. He actually goes for the Surf here, so I thought I was going to lose my Vulpix. But it actually survives quite well, and I go for the Pain Split. I do a little bit of damage to him, but get back tons of health, which is really what I was looking for. And he goes for another Surf. I expected this. I think this turn I actually go for a sub, which I get just barely. I can create 70 health subs. So I'm left with 8 health. He goes for another Surf to break the sub. I just Pain Split right here just to get a little bit more damage on him. He's got left. Oh, actually, no, it's not lefties. He's got a Salad Berry. So now he's freaking fast. Doesn't really worry me though. He only has one more turn to live. But he actually goes for a cover, which I was not expecting. I forgot he had it. I was just gonna throw out a Will-O-Wisp this turn thing. I thought he might try to switch just to save his Latios for fodder later, but he didn't. Here he gets the Surf, and my Vulpix actually falls. Still, it's managed to do more than I ever expected to. I usually expected to go out in 2 hits. But it managed to do severe damage to a Latios. Excuse me. And, you know, that's about all it did, really. Here he goes for the Psyshock. I was actually really scared for the HP Fire. But he didn't have it. He Psyshocked. I just get my hidden power off. I'm running Ice on my Executor, so it's going to take down this Latios no problem at all. From here he sends out Dusclops. I know I'm not going to be able to do all that much to Dusclops. It's way too bulky. So I just switch my Executor straight out. I go to Wigglytuff. If I'm lucky, this Dusclops has no way to hurt it outside of Will-O-Wisp, which it does use right here, but it doesn't manage to burn me. I throw Stealth Rocks down this turn, might as well. Try to get any extra damage I can in. It does quite decent, you know, it takes off a quarter of a Swallow's health. It'll break what I assume will be the sash that the Breloom is holding. I get burned in return. I'd rather be burned than Wigglytuff than Toxic every day of the week. I go for a flamethrower here, do a little bit of damage, but mostly I'm just trying to get burned. He goes for the pain split. Wigglytuff is a lot more bulky than Dusclops, or at least, well, it has a lot more health. So the pain split actually damages me, restores him to full health. That's kind of irritating. This turn I just go for the wish. I figure with burn and maybe like an attack or a taunt or something weird like that, I'll be down to half health next turn. He actually goes for the ice punch, which I found weird. Even on things it's gonna be, you know, super effective against, ice punch is not gonna do any damage. I'd almost rather run like Nightshade if he doesn't have it. If he has Nightshade, you know, I think anything like taunt or taunt really would be the one move I'd really rather see running over ice punch. But either way, I get back up all the way here, well, minus the burn at the end of the turn, of course. So it's kind of a reset. You know, I can't hurt him, but he's really just, he's stalling me pretty well here. He has pressure, so I'm losing my power points at 2 times a rate. So I just switch to Vileplume. He goes for the ice punch, but Vileplume is actually fairly bulky, so it does almost nothing to him. And I have Black Sludge, so I'm going to recover most of the damage he'll do. Go for a Sleep Powder. I get the Sleep Powder off. I figured it was either that or Stun Spore, but I felt like just putting him to sleep would help at least to fix the problem a little more. Here I switch out Vileplume. I knew I would either get a free turn, I should get a free turn, to switch to my Victory Bell. He withdrew his Dusclops too, so no danger of even waking up there. Sends back out Swellow, who takes, once again, he takes the 25%, or however much it is, yeah, 25% and poison damage, so, you know, here it goes for the Protect again, which I'm thankful for, because, oh, never mind, I didn't Growth. I forgot. I thought I should Growth, but I decided just to go for the straight up attack. It doesn't really matter, I don't think, but I couldn't really risk being slower than Swellow, so I just switched straight back to Wigglytuff. So I knew a Facade or Brave Bird or whatever it's got would just wreck him. He switches too. So now that he's got his Vibrava out against my Wigglytuff. He goes for the Fire Punch. Maybe he was expecting me to switch to one of my grass types, I'm not really sure. But he didn't really do any much damage to me. I go for the Wish. And here I assume he thinks I'm going to be protecting, which I know he's going to think. A little bit of mind games happen this next turn, so I assume I'm going to survive a Fire Punch if I guess wrong. But I actually expect him to switch, so I go for a free Flamethrower. Just so happens I get lucky enough that it hits his Breloom, who loses his Sash because, or what I assume to be a Sash, you know, due to the Stealth Rocks. And Wigglytuff, the one thing that's positive about Wigglytuff is her special attack is a lot higher than Chansey's, plus the Sun Boost means Breloom falls, and I almost go back to full health because I wished the turn before. So that was probably the turning point. Best possible turn I could have had right there. Swellow comes back out, takes more damage. I got a little ballsy here, I'm not sure why. I'm like, oh, I'll take this Visade, it won't do that much. But it does tons of damage. Luckily, I survived, and I had a Wish prepared this turn. And with my leftovers, I will survive the burn. Meanwhile, the Swellow is not quite as lucky. Well, it survived right now, but it's taking poison damage every turn. So I go for the Protect. Tries to U-turn out, doesn't succeed. So there's my Wish. I know it's faster than me, and it's going to destroy whatever it attacks, so actually this turn I go for a double Protect, because I know nothing else is going to work. You know, whatever I switch to will die, and Wigglytuff will die if I don't switch. So I go for double Protect, it doesn't work. I don't really feel too bad about it. You know, my Wigglytuff has done more than its job, its fair share of work. I took out one of the scarier threats to my team, Barloom, installed the Swallow long enough for Poison to take it out. I'm actually very happy with that. So Swallow falls. He goes and sends out Dusclops. I respond with my Executor. I didn't know what he'd be sending out. I was hoping it'd be the Flygon because I'd be faster than it, I believe. No, but not with a Scarf, I guess. Scarf, that probably wouldn't be. So here it's asleep. I just decide why not. Let's see how much a Giga Drain does. It does a sixth or so, I guess, of his damage, or of his health. So I'm just like, why not? I'll just keep Giga Draining him. If I'm lucky, he'll be staying asleep long enough that I can take him out before he wakes up and gets the pain split off. So here's turn 2 sleep. Feeling pretty good. Giga Drain. If it stays asleep this turn, I get a kill. If it doesn't, well, it pain splits and life gets harder. And it does wake up, so I don't get the max sleep. But 2 turns is more than I ever really expect. Usually it's just 1 turn and it wakes up and destroys me. So it pain splits, gets up a decent amount of its health. I'm just still going for Giga Drains. I figure at this point I'm all in against this thing. May as well do everything I can to it. Executor doesn't have a whole lot left to do in this match anyway. HP used to be great against Flygon, but I'm not going to expect it to get it off if the thing's scarfed. So I'm just still going for Giga Drains. I figure all I got him here. This Giga Drain plus another pain split, he's gone. I believe. But I forgot that with the Life Orb, I fall down in the Nightshade range, which evidently he is running. So he runs, well, if they count pain split, 3 attacks plus Will-O-Wisp, which I found interesting. No taunt. Even as slow as Dusclops is, taunt is still good on it. But either way, I get I get the kill on it with my Victory Bell. Leaf Blade's good, doesn't miss. As physically bulky as it's going to be, doesn't matter. So here, friggin' Sableye comes out. Comes at me with a Will-O-Wisp first turn, gets the burn, so now my Leaf Blade is not going to do nearly as much damage as I like. But I knew it couldn't really do anything to me, so I just go for the Growth. Granted, now my attack is back to normal, but my special attack is really where it's at. Weather Ball and Leaf Storm are going to do huge amounts of damage to this thing. But here I get cocky and misplay pretty bad. Prankster Sub normally wouldn't matter too much, but I Leaf Storm it. I don't know why I didn't go for the Weather Ball. I mean, I don't see Substitute a lot on Sableye, which is probably why I wasn't thinking about it. There's certainly nothing I ever run on him, as much as it makes sense. I just never find a move slot for it, so it caught me by surprise. Now I've lost my special attack boost, which sucks. And I'm taking burn damage. So at this point, I mean, I gotta save my Victory Bell for later. It's the only chance, it's really the only thing I have, for the most part, that's gonna take out Flygon. He goes for the Foul Play, which is going to do huge damage to Rapidash because it has poor defenses and a huge attack. So I figure at this point, why not? I'm just going to Flare Blitz it. If he switched to Flygon, I would have been, I would have been in so much trouble, but he doesn't. He lets the Sableye tank it, and it does fall. Best thing about Sableye, it doesn't have a lot of health. So I survive with the recoil with 1 HP, which is, in my opinion, hilarious. Because now I actually switch out my Rapidash, go to Victory Bell, and I just let my Victory Bell tank the Outrage. I don't really know why I do this. I figured I'd just, I'm relying 100% on my Vileplume for the rest of this battle. So I figured, may as well let my Victory Bell take the fall. If I have to, I will, after this Outrage, because I knew my Vileplume should be able to survive it, I'll just use my Rapidash as fodder and let this Flygon get confused. But it gets confused right now, so I can save it for later. Here I go for the Sleep Powder. So now it's asleep and confused, so I'm actually feeling pretty confident here. Instead of just attacking it right away, I actually go for a Moonlight. because in the sun, Moonlight heals for 2/3 of my health, which is about what I'm missing. So I know I can actually stall it out I can stall Flygon out fairly well by just Moonlighting every turn if I have to. If I ever get a confused proc or something, that makes it even that much easier. But so here it stays asleep for a second turn. So now I'm feeling the luck. Go for a Giga Drain yet again. Or actually, this first Giga Drain I've gone for. It actually does really nice damage, but he does wake up. And he gets the Outrage off. So here's where I was like, well, do I switch out this turn and sack my Rapidash, or do I just go for a Giga Drain and man up? Because when I go for the Giga Drain, I get the crit, which it felt kind of cheesy for the end of a battle, but, you know, what can you do? I get my victory there against Internets with a lucky crit. Beat him 2-0, although my Rapidash was pretty much on its last legs. But still, I mean, I attribute that entire victory to the fact that I predicted the Breloom switch in the middle of that match. If I hadn't done that, Breloom could have walked all over. Well, maybe not, actually. The only thing Breloom could really deal with was my Wigglytuff. But if it had gotten rid of that before my Wigglytuff had stalled out, like the Swellow and whatnot, the Swellow could have just trashed my Grass type. So who knows? I'm not 100% sure how it would have gone, but you know, that's what happens. Sometimes you just get that good prediction or a lucky crit or whatever. So yeah, I'm going to continue on. My next opponent is actually CB Koro, which means it's a rematch from the very first round where he beat me. Hopefully I'll play a little bit better this time. If I beat him, I'll be doing 2 videos next. I'll be doing both of the matches against him. If I lose, I'll have to wait a little while until he gets knocked out of the tournament, or wins the tournament, or whatever. But anyway, that's next, so we'll see what happens then. As for now, this is all.